Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Fourth and Long podcast. Today, I'm not only joined by Jalen Johnson, but I'm also
Hello.
joined by Ray. Ray, what's up? How you doing today?
What's up, Ross? How's it going?
Welcome to the podcast, baby. It's good to have your little debut going.
Yeah, it's good to be on.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hey guys, so we got a pretty good mix today. We're gonna have Jalen joining us for the first half through through a few topics, and we're gonna have Ray all the way through. And about halfway through, we're gonna switch up subjects into a little baseball talk for the first time on here. All right. So let's just get into it, boys. Of course, on Thursday night we had the start of the new NFL season, and it was kind of a shit show. What did you guys think about it?
Yeah, big time shit show.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, that's you. I think that's the least you could say about that. It was a 10-3 Packers win. Um, Hardly any passing game, hardly any run game. It's good defense at least. Each team recorded 5 sacks, so that's not half bad.
Great defensive game.
Yes. But that's expected from the Bears.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
If we're being positive here, the Bears is still on track for where they were defensively last year.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also if you're talking fantasy, unless you had the defense of the Packers or Bears, you were probably pretty damn disappointed.
Yeah, I had Montgomery in my backfield.
Ooh.
Yeah, and even,
5 points.
I'm sure if you were going to draft arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the game, and he's only putting up 200 yards and a touchdown,
Yeah.
it's pretty disappointing.
Maybe besides on the Bears, you had Allen Robinson. 7 catches, 102 yards. Most leagues that get you around 17 points, so that's not half bad.
Yeah, that's a decent
That's a
game.
bright side.
But that's about it right there. So
Yeah,
it was
otherwise,
kind of
most stats other than defensive stats were pretty bad.
exactly. So this was kind of a shocker of a game. I'm sure a lot of people were expecting a lot more offense. But so
Yeah,
if we're
I was
just
expecting
looking,
at least
Oh, yeah.
350
yeah, exactly.
from Aaron
If we're
Rodgers.
looking at the Bears' offense, at least they put up 3 points. The Chicago Cubs that night put up 10 runs. So we got a baseball team outscoring a football team. That shouldn't be a
that's
thing, right?
no good.
Yeah. When your baseball team outscores your football team, you should quit.
So I guess the real question right now is this are these real teams? Is this what the Packers' offense is going to be? Is this what the Bears' offense is going to be?
Ugh. The Bears' defense there's a viral video going around of Devontae Adams being triple covered, and he's, the star of that offense.
Yeah.
So I think that's all people got to do is shut down, the main guy of that offense, and it's just kind of a struggle to see what other yards they can pick up at all.
Yeah, because I feel like if the Bears' offense performed how they performed last season, that was an easy dub for the Bears. But I feel like since their offense didn't perform, it made their defense look bad in the end.
I do think so. If we're talking Packers, honestly, their defensive performance was somewhat surprising considering their defensive track record the last few years. They've been really dependent on Aaron Rodgers in the last couple of years when Rodgers has gone down injured. Their defense hasn't been able to pick up the slack. So you think that this is the year they turn it around?
I feel like they just started off against a terrible Bears offense, so it made them look really good. But I feel like
okay.
the Bears offense just leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
So I'd have to see
agree
them
with
against
that.
somebody else.
Yep, I
I agree
understand
with
that.
that. I think it's a good way to introduce, the defense into, like NFL season, get back up on that pace. But
yeah,
I think Jalen was right with that, which is saying have an underwhelming Bears offense.
I agree.
But the real test is going to come when they have to face, a legitimate
Well,
team.
they're going to have plenty of tests in that division with between the Packers, the Bears, and the Vikings. That's going to be heavily contested.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all performing about the same rate right now, other than the Bears defense stands out the most. But other than that, most of the teams just look the same with different names.
Well, at least with the Vikings, they're two different teams depending on if they're in prime time or if they're just on during the afternoon. Because we all know how much dick Kirk Cousins sucks when the lights are turned on.
Yeah, I feel like he has a bad vision problem.
Yeah. But with the QB play, you think did A-Rod just have a kind of a scrappy game, something he had to get through, or there's no way we can actually expect this out of A-Rod the whole season, can we?
I mean, just like how it was for just how it was for the Bears. I mean, not the Bears, the Packers defense going against the bad Bears offense. We technically can't say this is how Aaron Rodgers' season is going to be going against the Bears defense, because the Bears defense is a really good defense on pretty much all cylinders. So we can't really say this is just how it's going to be for him, because we don't know how he's going to be against average defenses and terrible defenses.
Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, if you're Mitch after this week, he's entering his third season in the NFL, pretty much a make or break season. He's fine for a contract right now, and this not the way you want to get the season started, is it?
At all. Not at all.
If you were expecting a big payday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with him, just because it's not necessarily the payday. It's more about, is he going to be able to at least be a quarterback that a team could somewhat build around? But my problem with him is that the throws and kind of reads he was making last on Thursday night was something that you might see out of a rookie. And this guy's in his third year. You think he would have progressed past that stage by now, huh?
Yeah, I think he's had enough time in the league to really know what he has to expect day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a picture going around. It was around the 20-yard line, maybe a little bit closer. There was a tight end just sitting in the middle of the touchdown, wide open.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and he threw it the total opposite direction.
Oh, man. But also, so it wasn't the quarterback play that was bad. Let's look at the run game. The Packers leading rusher Aaron Jones had 13 carries for 39 yards. And the Bears leading rusher Mike Davis had 5 carries for 19 yards. How much is the lack of a run game to blame for the poor quarterback performance?
I think just not being able to really chip away at, at downs and get some yards in, just kind of forcing the quarterback to always have to make a play.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just a little bit more stress. Even, on Aaron Rodgers, who is a, great quarterback, I think it would help to kind of pick up some of the slack with a decent run game, which they just didn't get.
Exactly. I'm less concerned with the Packers run game. I'm more concerned with the Bears run game, because with the quarterback like Mitch, that's a guy that needs a run game behind him. No matter what, he could still progress, but he's never going to be able to carry a team on his arm alone.
Oh, no way.
Actually, the Bears didn't have a bad rushing game. Theirs is more spread out, because they do run that 3 running back system, and Aaron Jones was kind of the main running back for Green Bay, so he did have 39 yards by himself. Mike Davis had 19 yards, and I know for sure Montgomery had about 18 yards rushing. So the thing
the thing I found interesting about that game on Thursday is how little they actually used Tariq Cohen in the backfield with Aaron Rodgers. They had them flexed out on, I believe, 22 of his offensive snaps is in the slot. I don't really get that one.
No, I think it'll progress throughout the season. I think they were kind of just trying to get a feel for what they wanted to do with their 3 running back system, to see who does best and what. I feel like they didn't get a great look at it in preseason, just based off the fact they don't want anybody to get hurt in meaningless games. So I feel like they're still kind of trying to figure out who's doing what and whose role is going to be what.
That can be understandable, but I think I'd rather it be switched. I'd rather they have David Montgomery out as a slot and have Tariq Cohen in the backfield. But of course, I'm not an NFL offensive coordinator, so I guess I don't know what I'm talking about.
Probably not.
Shit, hey, he gets paid big money for some reason. We'll just see how well if that offensive from either team are able to improve.
Out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they got to really pick it up. I mean, Mitch put up 230 yards and squeezed 3 points out of that whole game. So
yeah, they punted on their first drive, and then their second drive they drove down in around 35, I think, 38-yard field goal I actually thought that was really funny
Mm.
just because of how loudly that Bears crowd reacted.
Yeah, they thought that was the beginning of something great.
Hey, maybe if we're going to be positive, at least they might have a kicker now. Is that the takeaway? I think that might be the only takeaway from that game.
Pretty much.
Like, damn, dude. But moving on from that, it was just kind of shit start to the NFL season. Let's move into of course, probably definitely the biggest headline in sports right now. Uh, Antonio Brown. the the Antonio Brown saga in Oakland,
Oh my
of
god!
course,
yeah.
has come to an end today. On
And a new beginning.
and the new beginning, all within a matter of hours. What?
Yeah,
Not even
what's
hours,
guys' take
30
on
minutes.
this?
Ridiculous.
It makes
I-
no sense.
It's just like so much trouble to go through, just like so much drama. It's like really like, just dealing with a little kid at this point. Like this is what we're watching is just some kid throwing a tantrum.
Yep.
A very long, expensive tantrum.
Well, yeah, there's all this issues about the helmet, and then that gets resolved, and then
It all started with the
puts this
frostbite.
thing out on Instagram.
Can't forget the
telling the Raiders
frostbite.
to release him. Just so
Yeah, the
much.
frostbite. Who the hell
Oh,
gets
yeah.
frostbite? The first case of frostbite in the NFL since like the 50s.
Man, they play in the Ice Bowl, and not even any of them got fucking frostbite. So let's run
But-
through the
Yeah.
let's run through all
This is
what happened
so
during AB's
much.
short time in Oakland. First, of course, we had the cryotherapy frostbite. Then we had the helmet
Mhm.
grievance. Then we went into him threatening retirement. Then we had, of course, the Raiders going saying all in or all out. Then we got him posting the fines on his Instagram. Then he gets into a verbal and almost physical confrontation with Mike Mayock, the Raiders GM.
Yeah,
Call him a cracker.
confrontation.
It was pretty cool.
He did call him a cracker.
And he yeah, I think he one of the things that I think my favorite part about that confrontation is how he threatened to hit them and said, "Find me for that."
I feel like you gotta, if you're gonna come in like that with that much fire and just hate and anger, you gotta have a good one-liner at the end.
That wasn't a half bad one liner, but of course you got the Raiders then threatened the reports were that they were going to suspend him for at least week 1 Monday night against the Broncos. Then he apologizes, doesn't get suspended. Then of course he posts the audio of his phone call with John Gruden. Then the fines kick in, like $251,000 in fines. The guarantees are then voided.
300,000.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it hit 300,000 before you left.
Fucking hell. So that voided all of his guarantees on the contract. Then he asked for a release. Then he's cut. And now he signed a 1-year, $15 million deal with the fucking Patriots, dude.
Yeah,
And
that's
of
something.
all teams, it's of course it's the Pats.
Of course it's a fucking
Yeah,
Patriots.
we saw this coming. We all saw it coming. We knew it was gonna happen.
I mean, Pat McAfee called this 2 days ago on Twitter.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, if anyone's gonna know, it's gonna be the GOAT Pat.
For the brand,
Exactly.
baby. But this whole situation has been so shitty. I wasn't surprised
It's
that
been
he
shitty for
signed him.
them.
If we're talking about, if we're going from the Raiders' perspective here, what they ended up losing from this, physically, they lost a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder draft pick for AB. That was from this season, this previous draft.
Signed him for on a $50 million contract.
He had $30 million guaranteed, but all this is voided.
Okay, well, it's just gave up something for nothing still.
They might be on the hook.
Actually,
for,
technically, his
shit.
contract is not voided. They have to go to an arbitrator.
Exactly,
The
that's what I
arbitrator
was about to bring
decides if he gets his Yeah, if he gets the rest of his contract. So if he does end up getting his contract
It'll be
guarantees, he'll end up getting 29 million from the Raiders and 21 million from the Steelers,
yep.
including 50 million total dead money for both teams total.
Honestly, there's no way in hell that the arbitration actually sides with Antonio Brown, but I am all for them siding with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I mean it kind of depends on how much the players union gets involved. They can find an argument for it, but other than the players union getting involved, if it's just straight up the arbitrator deciding, I don't see it going that way. But if the union kind of gets involved and gets serious about it, then I see him getting his money.
Yeah, it's a really tricky situation right now for Antonio, for the league, and for the Raiders. And,
Yeah.
I mean, the non-physical impacts that it might have on the Raiders is, of course, locker room chemistry, a lot of doubt in there. Definitely hurts him for the Week 1 matchup against the Denver Broncos with the strong defense led by Vic Fangio.
hmm
Yes.
You gotta imagine how Derek Carr feels through all this.
Yeah, after building all that chemistry with his supposed to be star receiver, now
Oh,
they're a
yeah.
receiver down.
Their whole offense was built around Derek Carr, who is a really good backup and a average quarterback, and Antonio Brown. It's going to be iffy for the offense. We'll see how they perform against a defense like the Broncos. What I really think what went down here, as soon as the schedule were released that the Broncos are going to play in Oakland, Monday night, AB got scared of Chris Harris Jr. That's what happened.
He didn't want that smoke.
Oh, I don't blame him.
I know, and all these Raider fans were saying that Antonio Brown was gonna junior. It's just like there's
Yeah,
the
that
top
might be
receiver,
my
but Chris
favorite.
Harris Jr. is also. I think it would be a really good matchup to watch. But I don't think it'd be something crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
But man, this whole situation, it's definitely far from over too. So we'll probably be talking about this on next week's show. Probably another couple.
And one
shows
thing I
down
do
the
want to
line.
point out about the Raiders is after all this AB stuff happening, the one person on the roster who I thought was going to take the show before AB signed for being like a problem in the locker room, who's been
Vontaze.
quiet this entire time, is Vontaze Burfict.
Yep.
He is on that roster.
Hey.
Known for fines. He knocked out AB at one point. And we've heard nothing about him.
4 years ago in the playoffs. I think this all started. This whole reason I went through this whole AB situation over summer and through now is all because of Vontaze Burfict. All this shit with AB started after he got knocked the fuck out by Vontaze in the playoffs. Vontaze gave AB a real shit case of CTE after that fucked up blindside. And I think he might be to blame for this. Antonio's just gone crazy with CTE, and he's lost his mind.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Or that frostbite hits somewhere else.
Shit. And all I can say through all this, with from the Steelers organization, when having to deal with AB and having to deal with Le'Veon, and nothing ever getting to this close is bad, Mike Tomlin for Nobel Peace Prize.
And the crazy part is, after all of this, the Steelers got pretty much nothing for AB and Le'Veon.
And they still won both of these situations.
No, I don't think they won the Jets one.
I guess we'll see. We'll see starting Sunday.
I feel like they could have easily, because they didn't trade Le'Veon. They let Le'Veon walk after sitting for a year.
Yeah.
I feel like if they easily would have traded him, they could have at least got like a 6th rounder just to say we got something.
They got James Conner at a way cheaper contract.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this whole situation's fucked right now. But to pivot on from that, of course, at the time of recording, just maybe 4 hours before this recording started, we had the giant UFC 242 event in Abu Dhabi with the main event between Khabib and Dustin Poirier to unify the lightweight belts. It was a hell of a card.
Yeah, it was a great card. Great card.
3 of the biggest fights. Of course, Curtis Blades, heavyweight number 4 in the rankings right now. Then you had Paul Felder win his fight. He's currently number 10 in the rankings. Then, of course, in the main event, you
Yeah.
had Khabib Nurmagomedov submitting Dustin Poirier in the third round due to rear naked choke. Jalen, you want to kind of break down the main card a little bit?
Main card. Oh, one thing before the main card, there was a great fight on the preliminary. That ended up in a draw. Both guys kind of went at it. It was Leron Murphy versus, I'm gonna probably chop this up, Zubair. I'm pretty sure it's Zubair. Leon's 5-0-1 now. Zubair is 18-4-1. They ended up going at it for a 3-round war, and ended in a draw.
Damn, you don't really
Crazy
hear that
fight.
often.
Yeah, I rarely hear that, especially in the preliminary. Usually, it's very one-sided in the preliminary fights. So it was good to see.
Yeah,
The main card started off the nights with Merabik versus Carlos. That one ended in a decision after 3 rounds, ended up going to Carlos. Carlos pretty much, after a while, he kind of got beat up in the first round, but
Yep.
he pretty much took the next 3 rounds and
Yeah, he
pretty
did.
much just
He
beat
landed a
Merabik
solid
up.
kick clean on Maribek's jaw in the second round.
Yeah, no, it was clean. He started landing everything. He kind of took a couple of shots, got rocked a couple of times, but he kind of just weathered the storm and just kept pushing him, and ended up taking that fight pretty easily.
After that, we had Curtis Blades knocking out Shamil. Fuck, man, this card was filled with a bunch of Russians, huh? This name's shitty.
Yes, it was.
Let me give this to you guys real quick.
Russian.
Shamil Abdurakhimov. Shamil Abdurakhimov. Yep. We'll
Yeah,
go with that.
yeah, that's a shortened version of his last name. That fight, pretty much, the ref just
Curtis
kind of had to
fucked him
call
up.
it at a certain point. He was like, that was it.
What happened in this fight? It was the ref waved it off after Curtis Blades was in full guard, top mount, and he just brought down this giant elbow, took the point of his elbow and landed right on the nose of Shamil, and it fucking shattered. Oh my!
Shattered.
It was bad. As soon as I hit, Shamil grabbed for his nose, took a couple more shots to the head. Ref called it off because he wasn't defending himself intelligently. Because he was just grabbing at his nose. His
Yeah,
nose is
when your
fucked.
nose gets slammed in like that, you kind of can't defend yourself.
Oh yeah, there's not really a whole lot you can.
His nose was fucked after that one.
Just
What do you think?
Getting blasted.
Yeah, Jan, what do you
Yeah.
think of the next card or the next fight between Islam and Davi?
Islam versus Davi. First off, Islam's gonna have the home advantage. He's from the country,
Yeah.
so obviously he had the fans behind him the entire time. I don't think anybody yelled Davey Ramos at any point during that
If they
fight.
did, you just couldn't hear them, or they got beat up. One of the two.
I don't think they made it out of that
Well,
stadium.
if we're
if
talking
anybody
about
was
that
dumb
area of
enough
the
to
world,
chant his
they
name.
probably didn't get just beat up. They probably got either stoned or beheaded. I think that's how they do shit over there.
I'm not sure.
Completely medieval.
Yeah.
Oh man, everything they only act medieval,
Yeah.
but yeah, of all their buildings were some of the richest people in the world. I really don't get it.
I don't understand.
But Islam dominated this fight for 3 rounds.
Pretty much.
Of course, you heard the commentary team talking about how if it wasn't for Khabib, Islam would be that guy from Dagestan. Of course, Islam
He would.
18-1 now.
Yeah, he's 18-1. He's pretty much been destroying it since he got to the UFC. I do believe if Habib wasn't above him on his team, then he would definitely be that guy from Dagestan.
Yep, moving into the co-main, we had Edson Barboza of Brazil against Paul Felder. This did end in some controversy, didn't it?
Yeah, it could have. I believe it could have probably gone either way, but I was still more leaning towards Barboza.
Yep. Of course, I was rooting for Paul the whole time. He's my guy. But it went to decision. It was split decision. It was 30-27 for Barboza, 30-27 for Paul Felder, and 29-28 for Paul Felder. I agree with it. Of course, it could have gone both ways. Barboza might have had it. But the one thing I just don't understand is how you had one judge going 30-27 for Barboza and another judge going 30-27 for Felder. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah, that's too big of a difference. I don't know how you see two different rounds go that way.
Exactly. That just brings up the whole point of how the judging system in at least MMA is somewhat bullshit, and how kind of a bad system it can be a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, it's something they need to work on. They're gonna have to stick with what they have for right now. They can't just do a total reset of their rules and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I do think it's something they need to look into for the future.
Yep. After that, we moved on to the much anticipated main event between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Dustin Poirier. The Khabib being the lightweight champion and Dustin being the interim lightweight champion after he defeated Holloway a few months ago. What were we expecting out of this fight? Anything that it was pretty much what was expected, I think.
Yeah, I kind of expected it to go. I feel like Poirier. I feel like he was gonna land at least one big shot, kind of get Khabib to kind of
He
like
did. In the
pay
beginning of
attention
the
for a little
second
bit.
round, after being dominated
Yeah.
for the first, the beginning of the second, it was the first half of the second round was all Dustin. He was landing combos on Khabib like
yeah,
you've hardly
just
seen
land
before.
punch after punch.
It
Yeah,
was impressive. He even
it kind of looked for a second he was gonna take it.
it did. It looked like Khabib was stumbling a little bit, but of course we moved into the
Yeah.
third round. Dustin was holding a solid guillotine choke for about like 30 seconds, 30 or 40 seconds, and
Just held it.
that choke would have taken out pretty much anyone else in at least their division, but not Khabib.
Yeah.
Yep. After that, Khabib was able to wrestle his way out of that, force his way onto the back of Dustin, and just locked in a rear naked. Dustin tapped within a few seconds of it being locked in, but it was your typical Khabib
Yeah.
fight.
No.
It was just boring. A little boring. It was just slow and methodical. Khabib is just really good at taking someone down and just grinding on them the whole fight until a little window opens up and he takes it.
Pretty much. It was bad. After a while, he just took him, and there was nothing he could do. He kind of got a little gas. He was bleeding. He was just Habib was putting all of his weight on him, holding him down. And then after he got that choke in, you could just see it in his face. He was like, "Oh shit!"
It was
And that was it.
it was bad. But it was all in all, it was a solid card. It was fun to watch.
I do agree. It was a solid
And
card.
now it just
It
gets
was
me.
fun to watch.
Yep, especially with this lightweight fight, it really gets me hyped for the fight night here in a few weeks, which is Cowboy Donald Cerrone versus Gaethje in Toronto.
Yeah, the
And that's
Cowboy.
Cowboy taking number 4 ranking in the division, and Gaethje with number 5 ranking. That's gonna be a big one. Of course, every MMA fan in the world all desperately want to see Khabib versus Tony Ferguson now.
Well, Dan already announced after the press conference that the next person up is Tony. If Tony wants to fight, it's Tony's fight. They said they're going to offer the fight to Tony.
Yep.
And the only way it doesn't go to Tony is if Tony doesn't accept it.
Well, of
So
course,
I see the next fight being Habib versus Tony, the
Mhm.
12-fight win streak versus the 12-fight win streak.
I think Tony is. I thought Dustin had a little bit of a chance going in, but if we're talking about anyone else in the division, it's probably Tony probably has the best chance of taking him out.
I feel like he does just because Tony has the best wrestling background in that division other
He
than
can
Habib.
grapple with him, I think.
Yeah, I feel like he'll be able to keep himself up enough to where he can land those shots that everyone else tries to land.
Exactly. Yeah, but great card, and I can't wait to see. Hopefully next year that Ferguson and Khabib fight actually ends up working out. That's just the hope of the entire MMA community at this point right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that being done, Jalen, I appreciate you joining us at the beginning. Thank you for some more football and, of course, your MMA knowledge. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Jalen, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Ray. I'll see y'all.
All right. So then with that, folks, let's move on to the second part of the podcast here with which is most importantly the reason why Ray's here right now. And we're going to talk a little baseball.
Yes.
It's we got about a month left of the season.
Yeah, got a month left. Got some, pretty much the regular teams up at the top so far. A few teams making some good pushes that we didn't expect.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's getting to that time of the year. It's getting real exciting. So the first topic during our MLB talk is let's go into the MVP race, starting with the AL. We have a couple of our top contenders of course, Mike Trout and Alex Bregman. Is there anyone else in that picture for you?
With his MVP race?
Yeah, for the AL MVP.
There's some talk with, kind of the underdogs, like DJ LeMay, who's having a really good breakout.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard rumors of him being in that MVP race, but even as a Yankee fan myself, I just don't see it with just the big names that are out there, like, Trout, Bregman.
Honestly, I do not see a reality in which Mike Trout does not win this AL MVP again. Currently,
it's unrealistic. His entire career, he's been, I think, in the top 3 MVP votes every single year.
Right now,
we're watching pretty much magic unfold at this point.
We're so lucky because we're likely watching the greatest baseball player ever right now.
Yeah, honestly, that's not even a stretch. It's just we're watching something great happen.
At the very least, we're watching the top 3 best baseball player of all time. At the least.
Oh yes.
It's
he's
kind of weird to think about, right?
Let's see his career numbers right now.
So
he's
far
batting
this
305,
305
average, 285 home runs, 752 RBIs in his career.
That's nuts.
And it's just like the amount of consistency he has each year is remarkable.
Especially being on a shit team like the Angels too. It's real impressive.
They on paper, I feel like they should be good. They signed Pujols a while ago, and he's been putting up good numbers.
Shohei Ohtani has all the possibility in the world to becoming a dominant pitcher and hitter. He's strong.
Yeah, it's just like they need to start, firing at all cylinders, and like people need to heat up at the same time just so they can really make a push.
Yep. This year, as of September 6th, we have Mike Trout batting 293 with 45 home runs and 104 RBIs. He this year might win the AL MVP, and he also might win the Silver Slugger, and he also might take home the home run title too.
Yeah, he's got the lead right now.
Yep.
Well, he's tied at the top with Pete Alonso, which also another breakout rookie.
There's
it
no
seems
way
like year after year we have a rookie that just absolutely dominates the league.
There's no way Pete Alonso does not win NL Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah,
he's had that lock since the All-Star break. If we're being real.
Yeah. His average is a little low, but he's driven in 107 RBIs, which is, a couple more than Mike Trout. But
yeah,
the numbers don't lie this year. He's got 45 home runs, 100 RBIs, batting about 270. It's a really good year for him.
If anything, it's just real impressive. He's making a splash on the Mets team, which is, it's good for the Mets fans because I always feel bad for them, but it's kind of weird to see the Mets having some sort of success.
I think Jacob deGrom was getting a little tired of having to be that guy for them every single year.
Even a lesser-known name to a lot of the league is J.D. Davis, who I believe is in his second season of MLB baseball. Last season he was with the Astros organization. He won the ring with the Astros organization, and then recently during this offseason he was traded to the Mets. And
yeah, he's actually an Elk Grove native. If you didn't know that,
he is. I know. Yeah, I seen. I played football with his brother actually.
Yes, he's one of many big names coming out of Elk Grove High School. They got a really good program over there, and now he's making a splash.
It's really cool to see a local guy like that. So this season, he's batting 307 with 18 home runs and 49 RBIs. The home runs and RBIs are of course not bad by any means, but what surprises.
Oh no, yeah, he's putting up pretty good numbers.
It's a batting average that really blows it away, though. I believe.
Yeah, it's good to see him performing at the highest level.
Yeah, man. Second, I guess the closest guy to Mike Trout right now in the AL race is Alex Bregman. Mike Trout's hitting 293 with 45 home runs, 104 RBIs. Bregman has the edge in the batting average with the 295, but he only has 33 home runs and 98 RBIs. This AL one,
Still really good numbers.
Oh, of course, but this AL, if it keeps on going the way it is right now, it should be in one of the easier votes in recent years.
Yeah.
But where it gets close is in the NL, because we have three top guys.
The NL is a very exciting division right now.
Yes, the three top guys are of course defending MVP Christian Yelich. Right behind him, you have Cody Bellinger, and then you also have Anthony Rendon up there.
Yeah, Rendon's having a really great year too.
They're all killing it right now. You can make a case for any one of them to win it.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Rendon batting .338 as of right now, 32 home runs and 114. I mean, this guy's really just been a machine this year.
114 RBIs with a month left to go in the season is definitely impressive. Of course,
pretty incredible.
You have Cody and Christian Yelich are right up there in the home run champion, or in the home run leaders too. Cody is at a solid 308 with 44 home runs, 104 RBIs. And then you have Christian Yelich at 323 with 43 home runs and 93 RBIs.
Yeah, and he actually hit another home run yesterday, I think. So now he's tied with Bellinger.
Of course he did.
So, I mean, all these guys are just having great years.
I think...
I mean, if I were to pick, I would go with Rendon, honestly.
Really?
He's driven in, if we really want to, break down what MVP means, I think he's just been a great, player for the Nationals. He's driven in 114 runs, has a solid batting average, 338. That's great. He's actually leading the MLB in batting average.
So he's winning that batting average right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can definitely make a case for all three of these candidates.
One RBI away.
Yep.
Yeah, he's one RBI away from being tied for the lead in RBIs in the MLB as well.
That's no small feat. Of course, the way you look at it, I think the way I look at all MVP trophies or the Heisman is what I do is I take away that player from the team and see how close they are to still competing at the same level as they are with that player. Of course, you take away Anthony Rendon, Nationals offense kind of falls to shit. But also, so does the Brewers without Christian Yelich. If it wasn't for Christian Yelich, his breakout second half of the season last season, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. If it wasn't for him this season, they wouldn't be anywhere. They wouldn't be anywhere near close to playoff contentions.
Exactly. Yelich is kind of willing this team somewhat to try to get them to something, but they're 4 games back from the wild card, so they have a whole month to see what they can do. So, if Yelich can keep performing, and they got Lorenzo Cain out there in center field too, so there's some guys that can make a difference on that team. But yeah, if Yelich weren't there, definitely be a completely different picture.
Exactly. I think using that logic, I think that makes Cody Bellinger not a weak candidate, but the weakest out of these three. I think that Dodgers team can still definitely function well without him, but it's Cody Bellinger. Of course, he has a great average, but it's the home runs is what makes him him. Of course, we saw that in his rookie year last season.
Yeah, the Dodgers are 16 and a half games ahead. And also the NL West is just honestly not that tough a division. They got the Diamondbacks.
You're saying it way too kindly. It's a dog shit division, and it's the worst one in the league.
Oh, yeah. Just surely by numbers, there's only one other team that is a winning percentage over 500 in that whole division. So it's just a complete wreck down in the West. It's just bad.
Yeah, let's transition right into that then. Since we're on the topic, let's look at the playoff race. As of where all this, yeah, it's in the AL. It's close. It's competitive. The NL is a little less competitive. Um,
Um,
maybe
I mean,
actually the AL is less competitive. The NL it's a little more competitive, except for the West when you have the Dodgers up. Pretty much an impossible amount on the Diamondbacks.
yeah, the Dodgers are gonna just take away that division again. I think it's been a whatever amount of years in a row. It just depends on how they can make it to the World Series again and actually win. I mean, they
It,
keep making it, but just can't really finish the
well,
job.
they've made back-to-back World Series now and have choked both of the times.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they just get dominated by this AL pitching
You think it?
time and time and
So is
again.
that why, in your opinion, which is the stronger league, the AL or the NL?
I think the AL is a stronger league just because there's so many dominant names in pitching
I agree.
that, and then there's all these hitters as well. There's, and especially having the DH position, there's just one more guy in that lineup that is strictly there to hit. So it's just
Hmm.
one more dangerous guy in the lineup instead of, having a batter bat ninth that's batting
Exactly.
100 on the season.
In the NL, the West is of course the strongest, with the Dodgers being the best team in the NL with a record of 92 and 51. The Braves are the second best team in the NL, in the NL East by a solid 9 games up on the Nationals. They got a record of 88 and 54. And then the weakest team, in terms of division leaders, is the Cardinals out of the Central. They have a record of 79 and 62, and they're only up 2.5 games on the Cubs. So the Cubs
That's
realistically
going to
can
be a
still
good
take that
playoff
division.
race. Yeah, it will be an exciting race. It's just I don't think they'll make it very far in the playoffs after that, but it will
No.
be a good race to watch, inside the Central.
Yep.
But just once they get out of that, the Braves are either going to take them out or the Dodgers. Just,
Yeah. The Central definitely is not going to make it out of the first round. I think we could comfortably say that.
yeah. But I mean, even then, there's still, in the Central, 3 teams that have winning percentage over 500.
Hmm.
So throw the Dodgers in there and we can see what happens. Just they're playing so many bad teams within their division.
Yeah.
It's really not
We've
fair.
seen the Cardinals play out of their league in the AL. They've had a couple series against the A's, both on the road and at home, and they've gone battered around by the A's lineup, both series. So there is definitely discrepancy
Yeah.
between AL and NL power.
Oh yes, for sure, without a doubt.
Yep. Then moving on to the American League, we have the Yankees leading the AL East, of course, best record in baseball, 93 and 50. They're up 9 games on the Rays. Then you got the Twins, um, in the AL Central. They're up 5.5 games on the Indians, and the Twins have a 87 and 54 record. And then all the way down to the AL West, we have the Astros with a 92 and 50 record, leading the second place A's by 9.5 games. Once again, in this league, the Central is probably realistically the only division that might have a playoff race. Yeah, but it's a crazy discrepancy between the AL Central. Their top, the Indians are in second place are only behind the Twins by 5.5. But if you go to the third
Yeah,
place team, which is the White Sox, they're down by 25 games.
yeah. That just the whole bottom half of the Central is just not doing good. They're just, just got to try to rebuild and see what can happen these next few years.
What's with the Central being a shit division in both leagues?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just, I mean, all these big city teams are just have all that
Mm-hmm.
money and attention. They can kind of lure players where they want. It's a little harder for I think these Central teams to
Yep.
get people to want to play with them.
Especially, of course, you got the fourth place team in the AL Central, the Royals, coming in at a whopping 52 and 90. We covered this last week. They were sold to a investor located in Kansas City for a whopping $1 billion. We covered this for a quick sec, but Ray, let me get your opinion on that, please.
Um, I mean, I think it's just strictly a business move. I don't know how big of a baseball fan this investor is that bought it, but maybe
What are the
in
implications
the
of
inner
this
workings
in
of
terms of changing cities? Montreal is high on the list.
changing cities.
Do you think they move when they're done with their lease at their ballpark in Kansas City?
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
Do you think there's a realistic chance of the Royals moving cities when their lease is up at that ballpark in Kansas City?
Um, I mean, maybe they can try to change around new environment, new new way of baseball, I guess, for them to try to restart. But
Yep. I mean,
I mean, they have
what's
a really
crazy
good
about the
fan
Royals
base.
is that they won the World Series 3 years ago.
Yeah, they were a real contender for a while, and then just kind of fell off.
They dropped off big.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if we're talking about Montreal, we got the news breaking earlier this baseball season how Tampa Bay is considering splitting their home games in between Florida and Montreal. That was probably one of the dumbest headlines I've seen out of the MLB all season.
Yeah.
Man, imagine seeing a team playing in two cities like that, two dramatically different environments. How does that make sense?
I doubt the players would really want to do that and having home games in different places, just traveling so much. Just, I mean, and really for no reason. If a home
Mm-hmm.
game is a home game, I think that's just strictly a business move and try to bring, I guess, more baseball across the border.
Feel bad for those Rays fans. They haven't really had much to celebrate recently, and then they might lose their team for half a season.
Yeah.
It's rough over there. Yeah, with the division leaders, Yankees probably have the division locked up. Central not locked up yet. Astros probably have it locked up on the A's. Of course,
Yeah.
Dodgers. NL West is locked. The Dodgers winning that division.
Oh yeah, the
Cardinals.
division's done.
Um,
It's just pretty much a matter of a fight for the wild card in that
yep.
division.
NL Central. It's between the Cards and Cubs right now. But the Brewers are only 6.5. If they make a late push, probably sparked by Christian Yelich, they might actually be able to take the division.
Yeah, they can make a really late push, or even if they don't, can't get to the lead that division, if they can at least make the wild card, I think they'll have a good shot to try to. I mean, at least have a chance to get something going.
Exactly. Now, of course, on the NL East, yeah, that division's probably locked with the Braves up 9 games on Nationals.
Yeah, the Braves have just been a really good team, a really young and strong team this year. So
Yep.
it's exciting and it's paying off for them.
Yes, yeah, it definitely is. So let's move from the division to the wildcard standings. Starting off with the NL, the two wildcard teams right now is Washington in the 1 spot and the Cubs in the 2 spot. Washington's currently up 2 games on the Cubs, and Arizona in that 3 spot is down 2 games to the Cubs. The wildcards are definitely exciting to watch this year. Both in both leagues are really close to watch. It's really going to come down the wire.
Yeah, the wild card is always exciting. Tampa Bay, I mean, in the AL too, only at 1 game ahead, and I think Oakland's just been on such a hot streak. I think they'll be able to take the lead with that fairly easily.
I do think so. The A's are definitely, in my opinion, they're more talented of a team than Tampa Bay is. If we look at defensively, they have their third baseman, Matt Chapman, arguably the best third baseman in the league. It'd be between him and, of course, his former, the guy he actually went to high school
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
Kind of weird how that works out, right?
yeah,
And of course, that third baseman with the Rockies is what's it called? Damn it,
Arenado.
Arenado. Thank you, Arenado. Yeah, kind of Nolan Arenado. Of course, he's been one of the most consistent third basemen in the league for years now. Plenty of Gold Gloves
Oh yeah,
to
not
go
only
around for him.
defensively, but offensively too. He's just been killing it.
Man, he fucking better if if they're in Denver. He better be hitting shots every few games.
Yeah.
It's no excuse not to up there in the altitude. But yeah, Matt Chapman, Gold Glove, Platinum Glover last year. Then of course on the other corner at first base, yeah, Matt Olson, who is also a reigning Gold Glover.
Yeah, they got some really good gloves in Oakland. And Marcus Semien, has really picked it up after the past, I think, couple of years. He was really struggling.
Really good
and now he's
story
picked it
of
up and-
yes, Marcus with the great story. If we go back 3 seasons, he was absolutely fucking abysmal at shortstop, and the whole city
Yeah, I
of
think
Oakland wanted
he-
him out.
Yeah, and he was leading the league, I think, in errors actually.
He was definitely he
And,
had a solid margin on that.
Yeah, and now he's just, become a really solid defender and
And even
known
offensively
for having
too.
a sure glove, really. Yeah.
Earlier I was of course I was talking to you about maybe a possible dark horse for the MVP at least a few weeks ago in Marcus Semien. But of course his offense just isn't there yet. He has solid production. This year he's batting 275, 26 home runs and 75 RBIs as the A's leadoff hitter for most games, which isn't bad, but it's definitely not MVP worthy.
It's not MVP worthy, but I think he's on the right track. Maybe he can pick up
Probably,
RBIs
yeah.
and average.
Definitely.
As a shortstop, you're not expected to be hitting too many home
No.
runs, but
That's for the outfielders
become a-
and the third baseman, pretty much.
yeah. So if you can, pick up that average a little bit,
Mm-hmm. But
knock in a few more RBIs, which is also hard as a leadoff batter.
mm-hmm.
I think he could really make a push, but
Um,
it's just all these big names are usually, batting in the 3 or 4
Yeah.
spot. Have
also,
so many
no one's
opportunities
gonna
just drive
take out
in
Mike
runs.
Trout.
Yeah.
No one is. But what you can talk about Marcus for is he's definitely up there for a Gold Glove this year out of the AL.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see who are AL shortstops. We got, Didi Gregorius, who's kind of in a rebuilding season. He's been injured for most of it, but just, in the AL, yeah, there's not too many. We got Carlos Correa, which is always locked down for the Astros.
Anyone on the
but
Astros is
Semien-
automatically put up at another level.
Yeah, but Simeon's just been he's been really great for them.
He is. If you want to talk about one of the better defensive teams in the league, it actually might be Oakland, because they have, of course, reigning
They
Platinum
just
Glove.
have a lot of really great Gold Glove candidates.
The
Gold
infield
Glove
stacked.
winners.
You have at the hot corners you got Platinum Glove Matt Chapman, Gold Glove Matt Olson, Marcus Semien is short, might be a Gold Glover. Then the outfield, of course, in center field you have the laser Ramon Laureano. Of course, he's famous for his massive throws and put outs and his great ability there in the center field.
Oh yeah,
Dude has a cannon for an arm. Arguably better than Cespedes. Yoenis Cespedes when he was still good and with Oakland.
So yeah, Cespedes, he was something else. He had a ridiculous arm, but
Man, I know we remember
now
that
he's
put out
just-
he had from left field, nailing in Anaheim when he nailed
Anaheim.
Pujols at the plate from
Yes,
way
he's,
from the outfield wall.
yeah, he was it's just ridiculous how many guys now have absolute cannons for arms.
Right,
Consistently throwing the ball over 100 miles an hour from the outfield.
It's crazy how different, how much that outfield's position's grown.
Yeah.
I think the Angels have just had they've had bad luck when it comes to the A's defense in Anaheim, because you had that giant put out by Cespedes, and then of course 2 years ago what got Ramon Laureano on the map was his put out from left center. He robbed a home run in left center, and then the runner who was on first got a little past second base, and then he had to run all the way back. But before then, Ramon Laureano from left center nailed a strike right to the chest of the first baseman and nailed the
Oh, yeah,
runner.
just threw an absolute laser.
That was the star of the legend of Laser Ramon. But
Yeah,
it's going to be a good boost for
something
the A's
else.
because he just got put back in the lineup after being out around the month with a hamstring issue. And right now, the A's are only getting healthier. Of course, he had on Sunday last week, he had Sean Manaea joining the team for the first time this season, after rehabbing shoulder surgery.
Mm-hmm.
He shut out the Yankees through 5 innings, which is impressive,
Yeah,
especially in your
very
season
hard
debut.
offense to really shut down.
Oh yeah, when you got a whole 9 people that can realistically hit a home run every time they're up at bat, it's kind of troublesome for a pitcher.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think is going to be the results of the wild card in either league?
I don't know. I'm gonna say. I think Tampa might be able to stay in there. I mean, maybe Cleveland can get in. I think Cleveland's just really making a good push, so it might end up being Cleveland and Oakland for the wild card.
I'm thinking.
I'd like to see Oakland go.
Yep. I think a lot of the league. Oakland is an exciting young team, and I think a lot of the league they're going to learn who they are real soon.
Yeah.
I think it might be Oakland in the 1 spot and Cleveland in that 2 spot, which would be a great game. That'd be a really good matchup between them.
Oh, that would be great. I just don't think Tampa can hang on, especially when these teams are starting to heat up like they are.
Especially with the divisional games they have too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston.
NL wild card.
Probably not going to make it. They've been a disappointment this year, haven't they?
Who was it?
Boston.
Boston?
Yeah. Pretty disappointing for what they did last year. Only to this year
Boston
being
just isn't
16 and a half games out of the wild card with a month left to go. Kind of shitty.
I don't think they'll be able to do it. They're finishing up the series with New York. They won the first game, but they just lost the second game. Boston just hasn't been able to have the same bats they did and have the same pitching they did last year.
See, but you know what? Fuck them. Boston fans don't deserve anything good anymore. They can all fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Fuck the Patriots. Fuck the Red Sox. And fuck the Bruins. Bunch of spoiled fucks over there in Boston, aren't they?
I mean, Boston.
Even the Celtics last decade.
They won a lot of championships. It's
ridiculous how many championships that city has. But of course, every time you say something like fuck Boston, there people go there. Oh, you're just fucking jealous, and start talking in their stupid fucking accent. Man, keep it classy, Boston, where they have more problems at Fenway with racism than in any other park in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, you bunch
always
of,
a treat.
But what a lovely bunch of fans they have over there.
Without a doubt.
Going to the NL, I think Washington definitely might hold on. I think it's going to be Washington and Milwaukee. Milwaukee is going to make a late push. They're 4 games out right now. But with the talent they have with Christian Yelich, they should be able to make it.
I don't know. It's going to be tough. Yelich is going to have to come in really clutch and, a few other guys just to really get that team going.
Mm-hmm.
I think realistically it's going to be Washington and Arizona. I think Arizona's going to make a push, and it'll be Washington and Arizona. I don't know who's going to come out on top. That's going to be a close game.
Imagine this, though. New York Mets, they're only 4 games out right now. Only 4.
New York Mets. It could happen. There's 3 teams that are 4 games back. Any one of them can make a late push and just, will themselves into that spot.
Yep. When it really starts to get out of it, the teams that are still in it, but not currently a wild card team, but are still in the race, is Arizona back by 2. They have Milwaukee, the Mets, and Philadelphia down by 4. When you get after that, you get San Francisco, who's 8.5 out, and that's where it gets to be a stretch. But realistically, Philadelphia, New York, Milwaukee, and Arizona could all make that team, the wild card.
Oh yeah. mean, and hopefully if the Cubs want to make another push, they're gonna just have to hold on and win games where it really counts.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of hungry teams behind them. Arizona, Milwaukee, all these teams. The Mets, I'm sure, would like to make a push, especially for this breakout season for Pete Alonso.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if somehow
Harper's
they
in
actually
Philadelphia.
fucking pull it off. The Mets.
Yeah.
With the
This
trade
would be
for
a
Marcus
break,
Stroman, too, which
Yes.
shocked pretty much the whole league. Yeah.
I mean, and it's either way. The Nationals are going to be in this game. It's going to be really hard for anyone to take down Max Scherzer, who's definitely going to be starting that game.
Then Steven
It's just-
Strasburg, too.
he's a
Solid
great
1-2
pitcher.
punch.
Yes.
But a little controversy. If we're on the topic about the Nationals pitching, news broke a few days ago as of recording that Steven Strasburg is going to opt out of his player option and look to re-sign with a different team besides the Nationals. How much
Who
does
was
that
that?
hurt them? Steven Strasburg, the number 2 pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
How much does that hurt the Nationals' pitching rotation? Obviously, a lot, I guess. We all remember his dominance. Was it 4 years ago, 4 or 5, when he had like that 19 strikeout game?
Oh, yeah. It was something like that. He just completely
What happened? Did they have Tommy John?
shut down. I'm trying to think. I think he did a few years back.
Yep. So, yeah, when he first was introduced to the league, he was just destroying people. You
Yeah.
can stop this guy, but then of course he had just the injury, little Tommy John, and no one's ever the same after that.
Yeah, it gets pretty dangerous after your first Tommy John surgery or what's going to happen to your arm.
Yep. Maybe moving on from these predictions, let's get into a couple, I guess, into a lot of people, controversial topics. First one being which is juice balls. Ray, are the baseballs in the MLB juiced?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, there's teams putting up home run records already. The Twins, reset the single season home run record in August.
Yep.
I mean, we still got a month and a half left of baseball. All
Yep.
these home runs are being hit, and all that stuff with Justin Verlander and the juice balls.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a dominant pitcher. I'm sure he knows exactly how balls are supposed to be coming off players'
Exactly.
bats, and if he thinks something's going up, then there's a good chance something's up with these balls.
Of course, you have Rob Manfred, the commissioner of the MLB, repeatedly denying the fact that the baseballs are juiced, but of course he's going to deny that. He's a commissioner. There's no way in hell that they're going to admit that.
Oh yeah, no way. And that's just, I mean, it sucks because, Manfred's denying all these allegations when he's supposed to promote the business of baseball and just, make sure baseball is, I guess, appealing to everyone. So I think
Mm-hmm.
the way to do that is just more home runs. And
Offense is. You can't
honestly
argue
what
that
it
home
is.
run is one of the most exciting plays in baseball.
Oh yeah.
If we're going through the top 5, if we want to look through evidence that may suggest that balls are juiced, let's look through the top 5 home run teams in history. We have the 2019 Twins with 272 as of September 6th. You have the 2000 Yankees with 267. Then the leaders before that team last season is all the way down to 1997. The Seattle Mariners
Which
with
was-
264.
Yeah, and I mean that was 1997 was prime time of the steroid era. So,
Yep.
it makes sense that someone's juiced or the balls are juiced for these balls to be going out of the park.
They kind of have to be right.
Yeah, it just
Of course,
doesn't make sense.
that was when the Mariners went a solid 90 and 72 when they won the AL. A solid offense, of course. Of course they did. That's what happens when you still got A-Rod and
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar
Yeah.
Martinez. That was a solid team. And so they were the champions for a while, till of course 2018 Yanks knocked them off. Then we're going number 4. You have the 2019 Yankees with 263 as of September 6th, and then number
Yeah, so,
5,
I mean,
you have the 2005
putting up a
Rangers
lot
with
of numbers.
260. So obviously, more recently, there's been way more home runs than there has ever been.
Yeah, just the consistency of baseball's going out, and I'm sure Justin Verlander didn't make this prediction after 1 year. I'm sure he's noticed it over last year, or maybe the year before that, noticing that balls are starting to leave the park a little more often.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because the Yankees, set the record last year, and I mean, everyone on the lineup is dangerous, but balls are just going out way more often. And there's been dangerous lineups in the past before.
Mm-hmm. Another possibly damning statement to the fact that baseballs are probably juiced is just this season, the minor league the minor leagues started to use MLB baseball, and if we're looking between just 2019 and 2018, their home runs have gone up 135.2%.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie.
No, the baseballs are obviously they're altered in some way that makes it easier to hit home runs. Of course, the argument to counter this whole juice balls is the truth that a lot more often now in baseball you have hitters going for home runs. You have we've had an increase in home runs, but we've also had an increase in strikeouts over the last few seasons, and that's due to hitters
I think that's
swinging
just,
upwards and just looking for the big shot.
Yeah. That's all people are trying to do now is just put balls in the air and get them out of the ballpark, and I think that's part of also why Manfred wanted to do something about these balls, just because the strikeouts are going up, pitchers are getting better. And these games are, being 1 or 2 run ball games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're a really big baseball fan and enjoy the game for what it is, like if you're just there to have a good time, it's not that an exciting game.
I'd be willing to guess at least 75% of people who watch baseball do not like pitcher duels.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting thing to look at because, of course, we had big name pitchers like Justin Verlander speaking out against this. You have Rob Manfred denying it. The evidence that we've gone over suggests it doesn't prove anything necessarily, but it definitely suggests that the baseballs have been altered over the last couple seasons. Do you think within the next few seasons, Rob Manfred actually comes out and says that the balls have been changed, or is that never going to happen?
I don't see that happening. I think maybe someone might leak it. I doubt it, but I don't think Manfred will ever come out and say that, just because there'll be an outrage with the players' union.
Exactly.
Just because, I mean,
shit will go
numbers
down.
is what keeps people on the field. If you're not putting up a decent ERA or
it's good for the batters get better numbers, but it's killing the pitchers.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that just makes people work harder and trying to work new pitches in, and just honestly it could become a little more dangerous just because pitchers are trying so many new things to try to get people out.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't really know what's going to happen.
I think what I would be okay with is if these baseballs are juiced, what if we let pitchers use pine tar?
Yeah.
Bounce out a little bit. Get that spin rate up a little bit,
If batters are going to have that advantage with the balls being juiced, might as well get a little crafty.
It's just like Jerry Rice using a little stickum. Still the GOAT.
Yeah.
Exactly. That would be an interesting dynamic. I'd be all for it if I'm being honest.
I mean, there's no way that would ever happen, but
no.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be pitchers that are going to become desperate and trying to maintain
it's already
their job.
happened. Pine tar has been a thing for years.
Yeah,
for decades.
People have been trying to get ahead in the game for forever, but
that's a part of sports. Everyone just tries to get edge up, especially nowadays when there's hardly a difference between the best pitcher and an average pitcher.
Yeah.
So maybe moving on from that controversial subject to another one that I support is that's the use of a robotic strike zone. What's your take on this?
I just think it's necessary. Just there's so many terrible calls in the game, and like
Shout out to
so many
Angel
games that are
Hernandez and
just
Joe West.
yeah. It is just so bad how these games are ended sometimes, or people getting rung up on awful
It's
strikes.
happening. It seems like it's happening more often now than it has before.
Yeah, and it seems that the league is doing nothing about it. Like these umpires, I'm not saying they got to be fired, but get them out from behind the plate. Just put them out on the field, just so it's not such a bad call. It's just, these strike zones are terrible.
It's it's awful because it's not uniform at all. The strike zone varies between umpires, and
So much. And
not only
just
does it vary between umpires, it varies between the umpires on a specific day, which is stupid.
yeah, a robotic umpire would just be so much better.
Yeah. So the way
Um,
this will work is that they have a robotic strike zone. You still have the umpire, home plate umpire, of course, to actually call outs and other sorts of things. But so the way it worked is that the umpire would be wearing an earpiece, and as soon and they'll say what the computer says.
yeah, just to call it, either a ball or strike, and that's good.
Just that would just
But
clean
it's
up the
just,
game so much more.
oh yeah,
Like we have the
easily.
technology.
And like I'm sure it's good that we're gonna still have an umpire back there, so they can
Hmm.
make calls at the plate and whatever else. But
Of course.
just at least to have a consistent strike zone. I'm glad the MLB has started to implement the use of like some technology, with the instant replay and
Oh
stuff
man,
coming in a few
was
years
a
ago.
replay got introduced like 6 years ago, I believe, and that changed the entire game of baseball
Yeah. Well, and
for the
there's like,
positive.
oh, for sure. There's a while back now, a pitcher, I forget his name, but a pitcher for the Tigers was 1 out away from a perfect game.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
First base umpire completely ruined it, and there was nothing they could do. They couldn't overturn it, nothing. So, I mean, that's just one specific example,
yeah.
but
That was pitcher Armando Galarga. Uh,
just
that was a
completely
heartbreaker.
changing the history of the game. Really, like that was could have been part of history, but instead, just a big what if.
That's called by now the possibly the most infamous umpire, Jim Joyce. Oh man, that was awful.
Yeah,
At least we're never going to have to, knock on wood, we're never going to have to see that again. Because, of course, replay still isn't perfect. We see a lot of bad calls even with replay. But it's
yeah, but
gone so much better.
oh yeah,
Without
it
a
just makes
doubt.
the game so much more clean and like just like it's just there's less doubt, human error.
Definitely. Yeah, humans really good. It airs. That's for sure. So,
Is-
yeah, so the way, how would you want this to work? As a pitcher, you have experience. Would you rather, what is a strike? Is a strike a ball that's 51% of the way into the strike zone, or is it a strike when a pitch is thrown anywhere into the strike zone?
I think if you hit the zone,
it's just
Just so you're saying like 1% of the ball could pass through the zone, and that should be counted as a strike.
yeah, I think so. If you nick the zone, like just really paint that and it just touch,
Yeah,
I think it should be.
I agree. Yeah, you gotta be able to paint that corner. I believe it should be somewhere in between. I'm thinking like maybe around 30%, so you could still paint that corner, but you still have to have a decent chunk of the ball passing through the strike zone. You can't just be grazing it and having
Yeah,
it called a
I
strike.
can understand that. I feel like if once pitchers know the rule, like let's say the ball's got to be 50% in the zone,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't leave a lot of room for pitchers to like really really compete. Like they
Yep.
know that in order to really like get a strike, they have to throw it in the zone, and that just that just leads to more home runs and like your ERA is boosting up.
Yep.
I feel like if you leave, some leeway and let pitchers, are able to like really paint,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a good way to keep the game competitive.
Yep. That totally makes a lot of sense. But with that, we've been going around a minute 15 now. I think we got a lot of we touched a lot of good subjects. We covered the main baseball subjects and storylines going on right now.
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
we
exciting end of
covered
the season. That's for
everything.
sure. Going into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, October baseball is the best baseball without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And with that, I would like to thank you, Ray, for joining me today with this podcast number 3. Of course,
Yes.
I'd like to thank the listeners at home for tuning in and showing some love for this podcast. Of course, you can catch us
Thanks
on.
for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. It was great. Hopefully, we can make this something again. Hopefully, you can join me more often in the future too. So we get a few more voices going on in this podcast.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Of course,
I enjoyed it. Add some, some baseball knowledge.
Of course, you're the baseball guy. You're a bitch ass Yankees fan, but you're still a baseball guy. We kind of need you.
Yeah.
But of course, you can follow this podcast on SoundCloud and on YouTube. You can also catch us on Twitter at the handle Fourth Long Podcast. And once again, that's capital FOURTH, capital LONG, capital P. Sorry, folks, that's Fourth Long Radio. A lot of handles are taking on Twitter nowadays. It's kind of a struggle. That's capital FOURTH, capital LONG, capital RADIO. Once again, that's Fourth Long Radio. Thank you guys for tuning in today. It was a blast. Yeah, man. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Yeah.
You too.
Fuck the Patriots, of course. Fuck you, Tom Brady. Fuck you, Boston in general. Who else do you hate, Ray? Fuck AB's
like
childish ass.
Yeah, I'd like to say fuck AB. Always fuck Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Any Boston team at all.
And, of course, fuck the Raiders. Have a great day, everyone.
See ya.